With Vince McMahon potentially retaining influence in WWE and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on, and don't forget to like the video. On Raw, Liv Morgan made it clear that she is coming after Rhea Ripley, with this said regarding the future plans for her on Wrestling Observer Radio, so she will probably be in the Elimination Chamber. Discussing a return to the ring following his neck injury from March of 2022, Big E said this on the Sarah O'Connell show. "It's one of those things where I just want to make the right decision. I'm so thankful that I feel so good. In my day-to-day life, I have no restrictions. In my day-to-day life, I don't even feel like someone who had a broken neck, but I broke my C1 in 2 places. And it's something you often see in diving accidents, when people are diving into shallow pools or surfaces with no water, and they end up coming down on their head. Oftentimes, that is fatal for so many people. I talked to a few doctors, one who did the surgery for Tyson Kidd, who had a very severe neck injury. I also talked to the doctor they sent me to at USF. Both doctors were like, hey, please don't wrestle, almost begging. So it's just one of those things where I'm 37 now, I started wrestling when I was 23. I think about the long list of injuries that I've had, most of them from playing football. I've torn my left ACL, I've torn my right ACL, broken my right patella, torn my right patella, torn my left meniscus, torn my left pec, herniated disc in my back, a herniated disc in my neck, and broken my neck in 3 places. I've done a lot to my body over the years. It's something that I've really loved. I've loved being in the ring. I've loved being an athlete. But at 37 now, I also think about what life is going to be like in 10 years. What life is going to look like at 50, at 60. I want to live a good life. I don't want to be trapped in a broken vessel. So for me, it's just making the right decision. No door has been permanently closed or permanently opened or any of those things. No decision has really officially been made yet. But we'll see. I'm really thankful for health, for life, for being in such a good place, and I just want to make the best decision for myself, so we'll see. Reflecting on her decision to leave the Outcasts faction, Toni Storm told Talk Is Jericho, "Yes, Saraya, once a very good friend of mine, and Ruby Soho as well. We had been quite the trio. They have a problem with me. I can't for the life of me remember why. I don't know what their problem is. I think my suspicion is they got jealous of my flamboyance, my overall ambiance. I can't help it if I am the creme de la monte of this industry. Naturally, people are going to get jealous. I've had it my whole career. Everyone has been jealous, jealous, jealous. What do? They will come back in their own time. One day they will go, you know what? Time with Toni Storm is one we want to keep inside the tent spitting out, not outside the tent spitting in. It can be very dangerous. The door is open. If they wish to apologize, if they wish to come back and apologize to me, the door is always open." Touching on fans wanting to see Cody Rhodes take on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40, Booker T said this on his Hall of Fame podcast. "I don't think people wanted to see Cody challenge Seth Rollins because that's not the story. It's not the story. People want to see the story completed. I could be wrong, but I think a lot of people are really invested in Cody right now. And, listen to Dallas Page. And he was saying, there couldn't be a better representative for WWE right now than Cody Rhodes. Roman Reigns has done a hell of a job, and he's done a hell. He's been, WWE's Larry Holmes. It was holding on to that title. So my thing is, if he's going to drop it, the guy that's going to be here putting the work in, it's going to be cold. It's going to be Rock. Does everybody know that Rocky is ready to go back on the road? He's not going to get back out there. But that doesn't have to happen. So what that angle actually, you might feel a certain way going into it. Then the fans, may react going into it. And I just don't think that's something that, like I said, I don't know what's going to happen. Still, I think WrestleMania night, the fans going to get exactly their money's worth and they're going to love it. But every bit of it, it's I just don't want to write to show or anything like that. But I understand exactly where everybody's frustrated frustration is coming from, everybody's frustration. I get it. Just because of this Cody thing, so many people have been investing, and that's what I love about the business. You know, when you get the fans can emotionally connect, emotionally get on board with a story like Cody has done and created, you know, around completing Dusty's dream of holding the World Heavyweight Champion, a championship that he only got a chance to hold for a few minutes before they took it away from a Broad Bad. Taking to Instagram, The Rock posted this video hyping up his match against Roman Reigns. Many of the comments saw the hashtag We Want Cody and other pro-Cody Rhodes messages. Addressing The Rock possibly being involved in WrestleMania 40, World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins told Good Morning Football, "Hey, look, man, if The Rock wants to jump on the bandwagon, ride my coattails into WrestleMania, that's fine with me. Look, I get it. WWE is the hottest it's ever been. We are selling out arenas, stadiums. We got 2 massive deals. SmackDown, the USA Network, and Raw signed the most lucrative television deal in the history of pro wrestling with Netflix. We are living life right now. We are huge. For The Rock to want to come on board now, jump on my WrestleMania, get his toes wet, I get it. Some mad respect to him for what he's done for our industry. So I got no problem with The Rock jumping on and doing his business for us. Like I said, he's riding my coattails. You need to remember that. Who's been on Raw for the last 10 years more than anybody? It's me, this guy. I get the credit, not him. So he can come in, he can get what he wants. He can take his little piece and go back to Hollywood to do his thing. We don't need you. We'd love to have you, but we don't need you, big guy." Asked about a potential role for CM Punk on WWE television during his recovery, Ace Steel told the Wrestling Perspective podcast, "Definitely they want him on commentary. I don't know that they go that route since they did an injury angle to pull him out, since they did the storyline on him. Drew McIntyre stomps on his arm. There's the physicality that puts him out. I personally don't want to see him in an on-screen role unless it's in the meantime he's doing NXT or something. I really don't want to see him on the same show as Drew McIntyre because his sole focus would be going after Drew McIntyre. Well, I can't fight you. Well, I'm gonna try. We see people hit by cars and fork trucks and all these things, you know. Still, I feel like the fact that they did the injury that a lot of people think they put the storyline to it now that a lot of people think he's faking it, which is hilarious that it's a storyline 100%, which of course it's wrestling. So you've done so many of those like, oh, well, let's do this where he hurts guys. Sean Ross Apathyful added that there was no discussion of CM Punk doing commentary, and he's not expected to be at the Performance Center the next few weeks. We're told the Ace Steel podcast of Punk being planned for upcoming commentary work was simply a suggestion of Steele's. Going over the previous plans for CM Punk prior to his triceps injury, it was said by Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, the idea for Punk is that Punk was going to win the Elimination Chamber, and that's how that was going to work. Revealing an altercation he had with Cody Rhodes in WWE, Justin Gabriel said this on Rene Dupree's podcast. "Me and Cody back in the day had a little tiff, but nothing serious. He went to creative and he got some storylines kiboshed, but nothing too serious. I think we got into a fist fight over it once. We sorted that out real quick. I'm sure he doesn't even remember that. I thought he was joking at first, so we kind of like swung and I kind of did this fallback and I pushed him away. I'm a fighter for real too, so very quick reactions. Then when I realized he was serious, I was like, oh he's trying to fight me. I was laughing, and that just pissed him off even more. And then by that time, Mark Henry and Booker were there to pull us apart." For more details on Vince McMahon resigning from the TKO board following the allegations against him, Ringside News said, as reported by The Hollywood Reporter, TKO CEO Ari Emanuel and TKO President and COO Mark Shapiro contacted Vince McMahon, advising him that resigning would be in the best interest of the company. TKO had been aware of Vince McMahon's misdeeds since the merger last year. A federal inquiry has been launched into Vince McMahon's involvement in the sexual trafficking lawsuit as well. revealing how Vince McMahon could still play a role in WWE, the Hollywood Reporter noted. Sources say that even while McMahon was no longer an active member of the executive team, he would weigh in on creative decisions, reaching out to employees by email and text with suggestions. While McMahon and his power as controlling shareholder to reinstall himself, the new TKO is firmly controlled by Endeavor, making any sort of official comeback unlikely. Just a couple of months after the TKO deal closed last September, McMahon filed with the SEC to sell some $700 million worth of stock in the company, a sizable chunk of his holdings. That being said, he still owns a big portion of the firm, representing about 10% of shares outstanding. It may not be enough to reappoint himself to the board, but enough to carry influence. Speaking about his current role as a part of All Elite Wrestling, Dustin Rhodes told Sports Guys Talk Wrestling, "I'm proud of myself for still hanging in there and doing what I can to elevate these youngins and to make the next set of superstars for AEW to actually get their chance to shine, because we have some amazing young talent. If I can help in any way, I'm there, absolutely. I love that Tony gives me the opportunities that he does. I get a lot more nervous now in the last 5 years, I guess, since I turned 50. When I go out there, it is nerve-wracking because I cannot afford to go out there and mess up. I don't want to mess up. If I do, people are going to see that and say, oh, he needs to retire. That's something that really bothers me. I have to go stay on top and keep working hard. I've been training my ass off and making sure that I don't stumble in that ring. Listen, everybody does, but right now I'm just focusing on whatever my next time is and what I have to do to get through that and try to put on a good show and entertain the fans like I always have. It's very humbling for me and I love it. Without the fans, it would just be empty arenas and that's no fun. We need them there every single time." Recalling his reaction to being given his Dolph Ziggler name in WWE, Nic Nemeth said on the Wrestling Perspective podcast, "Heartbroken, absolutely heartbroken, and I am heartless, but I had to get a heart and then smash it in front of myself. I hope I'm remembering this night. I get a call on a Saturday night after an OVW show. Hey, you're debuting on Monday. Your name is David Diggler. Yeah, you thought Dolph Ziggler was bad. Your name's David Diggler. We're not exactly sure what you're doing, but just bring your gear." I'm like, "What? David Diggler?" They're like, "What? You have a problem with that?" I go, "Man, that sucks. Why is that the name?" They go, "Well, we needed a name with the same consonant." I go, "My name's Nic Nemeth. We're going with the reality era. It's in. What?" They go, "Nah, you can't use your real name anymore." I go, "All right." They go, "All right, we're going back in to talk to Vince in 15 minutes. You got 15 minutes to pitch him something else." So I text everybody in my phone, "Guys, I need a double D name." So my dad's name was Don. I had that down there. I had Dolph for Dolph Lundgren. I pitched all these different things. And they go, "It's probably going to be David Diggler, but we'll see you on Monday." So I get there. It says Dolph Diggler. I'm what? So I find Vince for the first time in my life. I bump into him and say, "Sir, we just went to reality based. We got John Cena, Randy Orton. This says David Diggler or Dolph Diggler. My name is Nic Nemeth. You can Google my name. I broke these records. I would love to be the best possible reason that you have legitimacy in this new era." He goes, "Nope, Dolph Ziggler. It stands out. That's it." He walked away and I went, "Okay, here we go." Touching on her return to pro wrestling, Liv Morgan said this on WWE's The Bump: "I feel ready. I feel more ready than I ever have in my entire life. This comeback, it's personal to me. It's very personal to me. And so I'm excited to get back to doing what I love. I'm excited to see what kind of form I'm in because I'm feeling very brand new. I feel different than I ever have in my whole entire life. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to qualify for Elimination Chamber and get my revenge. It's all I thought about. Rhea Ripley quite literally took everything from me. So it is safe to say that it is all I thought about. And there was hurdles there. There was a lot of emotional challenges for me to get over. I learned that it is not best to strike when you are emotionally charged. So I've had a lot of time to sit. I've had a lot of time to think. I've had a lot of time to settle. And now I'm ready to take action. I'm still laughing. I'm still very much as Livy as ever. But there's a different fire and a different motivation. Something else that I need to accomplish and take care of that feels bigger than any of my other goals that I've had in my life thus far. This is redemption." Sticking with Liv Morgan, her criminal case in Florida has been resolved, as Ringside News wrote. In December 2023, Liv Morgan was arrested during a traffic stop and faced charges of possession of marijuana, less than 20 grams, possession of drug equipment, and possession of drugs, potentially synthetic cannabinoid. The most serious charge, possession of drugs, possibly synthetic cannabinoid, was dropped in January due to a lack of evidence. Late last month, Liv Morgan's attorney entered a plea of nolo contendere for one of the charges. Nolo contendere means that Morgan accepted conviction as if a guilty plea had been entered, but does not officially admit guilt to the charges. As part of the legal resolution, Liv Morgan has been fined $543. The court records do not mention any further punishment beyond the fine. Staying on the topic of legal issues, an update on an AEW star was given, with Ringside News noting that FTR's Cash Wheeler is facing legal trouble stemming from a gun charge, and it appears that the legal process is moving forward with the case. The incident dates back to August 2023, when a warrant was issued for Cash Wheeler's arrest, leading to his apprehension. Wheeler pleaded not guilty to the charge of aggravated assault with a firearm through his attorney in Orange County, Florida Circuit Court on August 3, 2023. He voluntarily surrendered himself on August 17, 2023, and was subsequently arraigned. During the arraignment, the prosecution alleged that the incident in July 2023, which led to Wheeler's arrest, appeared to be a road rage incident. It was claimed that Wheeler had brandished a gun at the other party involved, who was referred to as the victim during the proceedings. Wheeler's attorney maintained that he did not know the other party. Despite little progress in the case since the initial arraignment, a decision was made on February 1st to proceed with the charges. In Florida, a conviction for aggravated assault with a firearm carries potential penalties of up to 5 years imprisonment, 5 years probation, and a $5,000 fine. Ringside News has learned that a hearing is scheduled for February 20th, listed as an arraignment even though Wheeler had previously been arraigned. An incident report from July 27, 2023 was released by Orange County, Florida, which detailed the aggravated assault with a firearm call. According to the report, the victim, Daniel Mata, alleged that Cash Wheeler pointed a gun at him while they were both driving on Interstate 4. Mata identified Wheeler with 100% certainty from a photo lineup, leading to the aggravated assault with a firearm charge against Wheeler. Talking about the future of Brock Lesnar following his involvement in the sex trafficking lawsuit against Vince McMahon and WWE, Eric Bischoff said on his 83 Weeks podcast, "I don't think Brock Lesnar is motivated to be a public person or is going to try to reclaim his fame, if you will, for lack of a better term. And he's got enough money. He doesn't need it. Obviously, he was going to get back involved in the business again, but if you can put $5 or $7 or $8 million in your bank account after putting in a couple days work, who's not going to do that? If you're physically capable of doing it, whether you love the business or not, if you're smart, you'll do it. Stack that cash. Go buy another farm. Go buy another one of those 700,000 John Deere tractors or whatever they are. Plant more potatoes or soybeans or whatever it is you do on your farm." That's what I would think Brock's going to do. I don't think there's any motivation on his part to try to resurrect his career. Asked when he will be back for in-ring action following his knee injury, Seth Rollins told Good Morning Football, "Oh, WrestleMania 40? No problem. We got this bad boy. We got this. I'll be back way before then, for sure. I tore my MCL, tore my meniscus about 3 weeks ago now, and it sucks. If you've ever had an MCL sprain or any sort of damage to that part of your knee, it's not comfortable, but doing all the right things, rehabbing. Fortunately, it was just a partial tear and not a full tear. We're able to avoid surgery for the time being. We'll see what happens after WrestleMania. We'll see how long I can ride on these wheels, but rehab's going great. I feel great. I feel like I recently just kind of turned a corner, as a matter of fact, on this knee. So I'm feeling really good. Definitely will be ready before WrestleMania, and I'm hoping sometime in the next few weeks." In a shocking move, TNA Wrestling President Scott D'Amore has been removed from his role in the company and released. In a statement to Fightful Select, the new president of TNA, Anthony Ciccione, said this move is intended to further integrate TNA Wrestling into the entertainment group of Anthem Sports and Entertainment as we work to leverage the resources of the entire company to add more value in areas such as production, distribution, marketing, viewership, customer acquisition, digital revenue streams, ad sales and sponsorships, and digital tech operations, among others. Everybody at Anthem Sports and Entertainment is appreciative of and thankful for the years of dedication that Scott D'Amore gave to Anthem and TNA Wrestling. Scott has been part of TNA since 2003, holding many key roles. He played a vital role in the growth of the company and the evolution to its strong industry reputation today, including the 2024 return of the TNA Wrestling brand itself. I personally want to thank Scott for the passion he brought to the business and his personal touch with talent. TNA Wrestling is in a position to take a big leap toward its next stage of growth and expansion. While we can create more operational efficiency, the most exciting part is expanding existing revenue streams and developing new ones. Wrestling promotions have evolved from event-driven businesses to global media enterprises. I was in Las Vegas last month for both the Hard to Kill pay-per-view and the next night's Snake Eyes show. Those were not just the two best pro wrestling shows I have attended, they were record-setting for TNA Wrestling on multiple fronts. That growth, expansion, and popularity that thousands witnessed live and in person in Las Vegas and live on pay-per-view around the world will continue in 2024. We have many exciting, groundbreaking announcements coming up over the next few months. Our momentum is continuing. TNA Wrestling features an incredible roster of in-ring talent who will continue to shine and deliver incredible matches and moments. We have a behind-the-scenes crew and staff who are incredible at their jobs. Our business is being run by experienced professionals, and the fans will notice many improvements in the coming months. TNA's success is attributable to its teamwork, and that team will continue to grow with more input from Anthem's top executives, partners, and others. We know departures of well-respected executives can create uncertainty, but we are fully committed to this new business model. We are entering a new stage of growth. These changes bring together more leadership experience to help us elevate our operations. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.